on the screen. All right, there I am. All right, well, let me turn this down. Well, this yes, John, we have 5 players now. That is a huge thing, you know. But yeah, I was just making this thumbnail and I'm like, you know what? Like I was gonna make a video yesterday. I'm like, surely, because when DeVries, I mean, I heard this from Steve Risley that, they were gonna have players coming in by the end of the week. Last week on Sunday and Monday, DeVries did two Zoom calls with a bunch of the ex Indiana players, and Steve Risley on the show that he does with another guy. He said that DeVries said, they should be seeing players come rolling in by the end of the week. So I waited all through the weekend. I watched the Masters, watched Rory finally get all of his good graces, and I was just sitting there refreshing my phone constantly. When is somebody going to come? But this is huge because I was just thinking about this on the way home. I was doing some work this morning. I'm like thinking, God, if Indiana doesn't get Wilkerson, if Kentucky gets him, that will be a huge loss for Indiana. I mean, either way you want to like point it, he was like definitely a guy that they were targeting like right from the very beginning here and have really zeroed in on. And God, I'm gonna make a video highlights of Lamar Wilkerson, and that's a huge relief. It's a huge relief to get that. I think he's going to be, the main scorer. He is going to be. I mean, I think he's going to be that guard that we really is going to be a game changing player. Now we can really start to do more research on him. I was going to make a video like Saturday and Sunday showing highlights of him and all that stuff. And I thought, you know what, save it, because if he ends up not being an Indiana player, it just goes as like a bunch of work down the drain for nothing. So it is finally happening. It has been, I'll tell you, it's just a frustrating process. And I think we're getting it a lot worse than probably other schools are, because we had that 2-month period where we didn't know, we were looking for the coach at the same time. So it's like been searching for a coach for 2 months. Okay, we hired DeVries. It's been about a month. I think he was hired on March 18th, right? So it's coming up. I mean, today is, God, it's month is flying by, April 15th. So almost a month on the job. So if you figure he got his son to come, he got Connor Enright. And let's just read what this on Inside the Hall, Alec Bozich here. He put the thing up 14 minutes ago. God, I was like almost spot on with my frustration video. I got to change that thumbnail now to, Lamar Wilkerson comes in. Sam Houston transfer. Lamar Wilkerson, a first team all conference USA selection last season, has committed to Indiana. Wilkerson also had interest from Kentucky. I heard he didn't go to Auburn. So this being a mano, Kentucky versus Indiana, I'll tell you what, it's going to make the rivalry game this year that much better, because those Kentucky fans, they're not going to forget that. Here's what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't think Kentucky has the NIL money that Indiana has. And I thought we had a big advantage because Kentucky's got 12 players on it right now. I mean, I think I don't think that Mark Pope's going to guarantee that the guy's going to start, but I think just is a natural way that you look at things. You're like, you're going to be competing with 12 players over here, where this team, you're going to come in and you're going to be like a culture piece right from the very beginning. And I don't know. We don't know what those conversations were like between Darren DeVries and him. Maybe some of that stuff will come out. Yeah, I think Duke has more, but we don't know what those conversations were like. So I was just setting myself up for disappointment. I thought, maybe, Kentucky, they're a little bit further along. They have a second-year coach. Maybe he would want to go there because, look, Kentucky was good last year. I mean, they were in the top 10 all season. It was very surprising that Pope went in there and really transformed that team after a lot of the players walked away from there. But Lamar Wilkerson coming to Indiana, And that is huge, huge news. Wilkerson played in 32 games last season for the Bearcats, all starts, and averaged 20.5 points. We got two guys on the team now that are really, really good scorers with Reed. Well, Reed, Tucker, and Wilkerson all can shoot. And so for the Bearcats, all starts. He averaged 4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.1 steals, and 34.9 minutes a game. So this is a dude that he's ready to make that next step and to be a real difference maker in the Big Ten. This is huge news. Man, I was like setting up all my stuff in here and I see all your comments on there. And then I had to check my phone and it's just crazy that it came through at that exact moment. But I'm going through, I had another list pulled up here. Let's talk about some of the other guys because probably tomorrow I'll make a video about Wilkerson because a really, really huge addition. So now we got Reed Bailey, the 6'10 forward, Connor Enright, the 6'2 guard. He's listed as 6'2 on here. And we got Tucker DeVries, and we got I don't know if Goody's coming back. And one thing I did notice here recently is that, Tucker DeVries, and I'm guessing that it's pretty well set in stone. And it's like, but he is not approved, just like Luke Goody for this extra year. He still has to get his thing. Whether or not Luke Goody gets it or not, I really don't know. I don't know if it's looking good or if it's looking bad or like who really makes those decisions there at the NCAA. You'd think the NCAA would just start, they're just approving these things because they seem to get sued more and more, like every day, the NCAA, by more and more people. But I got more players. There's more players, and Alex Bozich, thank you to Alex Bozich of Inside the Hall to put this out because he put this out 6 hours ago because here are some of the other players. Tayton Connerway from Troy, the 6'3 guard, his 24, 25 stats. He averaged 14.2 points a game, 4.8 assists. So he was 27% on threes. So he's not really like a prolific shooter, but and he shot 66% from the free throw line. So that's not really that great. But he's from Burleson, Texas. There's a scouting video on him here, and we're not going to watch that. But he might be a dude that might be coming in. Tyrell Ward from LSU, the 6'6" wing, is a guy that Indiana is targeting. He's the second name on the list that Bozich put out here. And now he averages 9.1. This is Tyrell Ward from LSU, 9.1 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 21.8 minutes per game. This dude, like from playing in the SEC, looks like he could come in, shot 67.8% from the free throw line. At first, I thought he shot 41.3% on threes, Tyrell Ward. So might fit in a little bit into this system that DeVries is trying to set up where it's a lot of shooting. Yes, me too. I feel like it's a must. Like, I feel like your guards have to shoot in between 80 and like 91, 92%. If you get a big guy on your team and he shoots around 50, 60%, it will level itself out. But it's like, as a team, you want to be around 75 to, that's a good free throw shooting team if you can be over 75%. And, you're going to get drugged down by a couple of those bad shooters. But what really killed us, you got Galloway, a coach's son, a guy who's supposed to be a guard, missed some free throws. Actually, in the Oregon game, big part of that Oregon game, Leo missing the front end of 2 1-and-1s. I don't want to hash up bad things, but it's like, shooting is everything. The whole point of the game is putting this ball through that iron ring. And if you can't get it through there, then don't shoot the ball. So, we need shooting helps you in every facet of the game. And I've been watching a lot of stuff about DeVries and his style. And from watching the tournament, like I watched a ton. Everybody watched a ton of Duke, but like watch Cooper Flag where it's like ghost screens, slip into the basket. Just the variation of ghost screens on the perimeter where you can run like a pick and pop off of that ghost screen. You can go screen him to the other side and slide to the rim. There are a lot of different things like where I'm watching these West Virginia games, and I'm really excited about just the style of play. And it's going to be it's really hard to even fathom after watching like 8 years of Archie Miller, which was like a stick in the mud, and then watching 8 years of or 4 years of Woodson, which was like more of a stick in the mud offense. And yeah, it's gonna be good to see. But let's go through this list here and go to the next name. I'm getting all over the place here. So yeah, Tyrell Ward, he is a guy they are targeting. Um, I wonder if like, they were going to probably move on to some other top level talent if they weren't able to get Wilkerson. So that was kind of like what we were waiting for that to really drop. And so happy it dropped today. It dropped right now. And, this couldn't be any more of a live reaction because this is exciting news because some of these other guys further down on this list were probably going to be some of the next guards that they were going to target. So Josiah Miles, North Florida, 6'6" wing. This is a dude that, I mean, from everything I've heard and read about this guy, he is like ready to make that next step. He is from Miami, Florida. He averaged 15.4 points a game. Remember, I think North Florida beat Purdue in the tournament. So, a program that's been around, that's been in the tournament and, is maybe done some damage, or I could have been totally off on that. There's so many of these directional schools. So he averaged 6.8 rebounds a game. This is Josiah Miles, 1.9 assists per game, 31 minutes a game. So he's a dude that started, played a lot of minutes, was used a lot on his team, shot 42.5% from the field. He shot 33.5% on threes. So that's not great. But honestly, last year, I mean, when we brought in Rice and Carlisle, I mean, there were so many people in the comments. And thank you for joining me today. Hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment. I have a giveaway coming up at 3,000 subscribers. A hoodie just like this. We'll be giving away at 3,000 subscribers. I'll get the one in your size and I will send it out to you. But thank you so much for being here. And BetUS, the promo code is Indiana125. Save 125% on your first 3 deposits, and 10% of the AdSense revenue on this channel goes to T2T.org. But no, that is me. Oh yeah, I got these got the bunnies up over here. Yeah, it's a delightful. My daughter, she loves what these bunnies drinking the cocoa here. But no, actually, we have a special guest on this live stream. And oh, here he is. All right, so.
Well, I mean, finally the guy makes some sense out of himself, and he got a player coming in. I mean, I got no patience whatsoever. I'm old. I ain't got time for this. And, how many of these guys are just looking for more money or more whatever? But Lamar Wilkerson, he is a real piece of work and a real player to bring in, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think as well. It's amazing to see, and happy to have the Hillbilly Monkey on the show. He never shows up at the live streams, and everybody's always clamoring for more Hillbilly Monkey and more whatever. But all right, let's go through a couple more of these names. And now I'm not going to get through all of these names on here. There are a lot of names, and I'm going to tell you, this is like it is so hard. There are so many guys in this transfer portal. It's impossible. Like, the average human can only hold like 7 things in their brain at the same time, like when you're researching things or whatever. So by the time you get to researching that 8th guy, you forgot about the first one practically. It's Kevin Overton. The 6'5" wing from Texas Tech is on this list here. That's one that really stands out. I mean, I remember watching him a little bit. Um, Texas Tech was pretty good in the tournament. He averaged 7.8 points a game, 3.7 rebounds a game, 22 minutes a game, and he shot 42.2% from the field and 31% on threes. Mika, we got a 7-footer from Butler Community College. Actually, this dude I think is definitely coming to Indiana. I've heard a lot of that he's gonna come to Indiana. This guy, and I don't know, Josiah Miles, and then the next one on here is Dylan Darling, Idaho State, a 6'2" guard, 19.8 points a game. This dude's a scorer, 5.7 assists, 3.4 rebounds at Idaho State. So I don't know what conference that is in or where they play, but 35.6% on threes. That is not bad. And he's from Spokane, Washington. He has 2 years of eligibility remaining. Indiana's going to need a lot of guys. Like, we're going to have to, I mean, it would not be bad for Indiana to get a couple of freshmen or sophomore transfers in to just kind of like pad the guys that might not play a lot this year, but might work their way into a role for next year. And that's kind of where we're at. You don't want to have this full rebuild year over year over year, but it would be good to get some guys that, might take on that more of like a developmental basis, but that you could have good faith that they're going to be, a player that's going to develop in the system that Darren DeVries coaches. We did not see that under Mike Woodson. We saw no development. We saw no, he canceled his other visits after. I missed that comment there, but here we go. Well, if IU beats UK and Louisville, sweeps Purdue, and gets in the tourney, I'm happy with that too. They got a lot of better games on the non-conference for next year, which just makes you more excited about the team. Like, when we're going to play teams in the top 10 this next year, you're going to have a good gauge of like, how good is this team in like December, you know? So that's another thing to really look forward to. It's just, I cannot wait to see all of this stuff and how it's going to play out with the new coach. Um, yeah, I was hearing that too. He can't, yeah, because he didn't go to Auburn, and then people thought, well, he's going to go to Kentucky because he left Indiana, went to Kentucky, then he canceled those visits. It's like, well, why didn't he cancel the? I don't know. Maybe he was more in between like Indiana, Kentucky to begin with. Maybe he thinks Bruce Pearl is a psychopath. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, like, how these conversations go. Like, I always think of movies when I think of how these conversations go, like Jerry Maguire, or what's the one where the guy's eyeball falls out Any Given Sunday? And I'm sure that's not how all these people are. Or Draft Day is a great movie with Kevin Costner, like how the how the different football players come in and they got all their swag and everything and act like a certain way. Um, I don't know if that's what it's like in real life. I would love to be like a fly on the wall when the coach has the conversations with these guys, like, because let's face it, Mike Woodson, he put the team together in like a day or two. That's how fast that happened for Mike Woodson. It was like, for Mike Woodson, it was like, all right. I think, well, he said they went into a room, they put some film on of these guys, and they said, all right, we need to offer this guy and this guy and this guy. And I mean, we know that just did not work at all. So DeVries, he's putting a lot more thought into this. I mean, than has ever been put into it before. I don't think Archie Miller had much of a, like, besides coaching basketball, I don't think he had a lot of good thought processes around, like, okay, how can we develop this team and players and this and that? Like, He was just like, "Give me the players, I'll coach them." And uh, and Archie Miller, well, people were very satisfied when he came in and he brought Romeo Langford in right from the very beginning. They're like, "Oh yeah, well, it's going to be different with him," and it ended up being terrible. So you got to let this stuff percolate. You really do. And if a guy walks out the door because he says to you, like if Lamar Wilkerson had come in, and that's why this is very exciting that Lamar Wilkerson is coming to Indiana, because you know how Darren DeVries is. You know that he's not guaranteeing him anything. He's like, you want to be a part of changing Indiana basketball. You want to be a part of this. And then he chose Indiana. And he's the first kind of guy who's outside that realm of players that, his son and Connor Enright. And we know that Sicily was already on his way. But, he recruited Reed Bailey, but then getting Lamar Wilkerson here, I think it's huge. I think it's a huge deal for the coaching staff. And since the last time we talked, I mean, he's got his staff together. He's got Kenny in there. He is a great recruiter in the state of Indiana. I know people think that he worked at Louisville in 2013. Who cares? Like, this dude is a really great recruiter. And he's got Kenny. I mean, we know Nick Norton is the guy. We know Adams is in there. So, I mean, I think he's pretty much got everybody on his coaching staff. He's got his strength guy in there. That itself had to take, like, interviewing people and seeing like what the right fit was going to be for the coaches. Getting the right fit of the coaches around you too had to be a little bit of a process for DeVries coming here. And I'll tell you what, one reason why I do have a lot of faith in this guy, and I keep telling myself this, he just did this all last year at West Virginia. And I do see a lot of people saying, well, why aren't some of those West Virginia players may come to Indiana, some of them may want to have starting roles at West Virginia or at other schools, and maybe they'd have a better chance starting there. But you should be able to get a better caliber of player in Indiana than you do at West Virginia. And I think Darren DeVries, I think he's acutely aware of that. I think he's very aware of the fact that, like, yeah, if I bring in these guys from West Virginia, like, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence as far as like Indiana basketball is concerned. I think he realizes West Virginia's here and we want to be here. So you got to bring in a better caliber of player, a grittier, tougher, more talent. You got to bring in those same guys, like the guys that Darren DeVries coached at Drake, those gritty guys. But now you can get a guy with a better talent level that has that same type of mentality. And that's how you win the national championship. Like, the transfer portal is a great, great thing. It's like it has turned into a great thing. And I just want to, like, before I get off of here, like, Walter Clayton, that was at Iona. He was there with Rick Pitino. So Pitino saw a lot in him. And I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't follow Pitino but when he left Iona, that was his big chance to go to Florida and go back home where he's from, Florida. And I just gotta say, like, we never would have had the benefit of, like, knowing who Walton Clayton Jr. the third is. We wouldn't have had the benefit of watching him in the tournament. And I so much enjoyed watching this guy. I picked Florida to win it all. I just kind of like, I watched some of their games during the regular season, but when they got in the tournament, and basically the Texas Tech game really sold me on that dude. But we never would have known who he was if he was at Iona the whole time. So, like, some of these guys, they're able to, you know, he's going from Sam Houston, Lamar Wilkerson to Indiana, could be the next, big thing coming up. And that's why I do think, like, while I hate the money aspect of it, and I hate like how it like makes all this stuff like all these kids moving everywhere, and it just seems like a big anxiety ridden mess to me. Like, who wants to move every year? It sounds like the worst thing ever. But it's it is there's good and bad with the portal. Like, the tournament was great. I thought the tournament was fantastic, and it's so we got Lamar Wilkerson is a huge And I was getting tired of waiting. I might leave that thumbnail up there because it was like I was just like so tired of waiting. That was me on that bench, and I've been messing with this AI making all these weirdo pictures. So thank you to this AI thing for making that picture. But it's huge. They got this really great foundational piece. Now can really put a lot of pieces around him, and yeah, it's just Indiana basketball is back, and it's gonna be something. I have a lot of faith in this guy. I think it's gonna be really, really great. And this week, I think we're gonna see probably 2 or 3 players probably come in this next week. Look, you got to realize it was just a few days ago or just recently when the portal closed from people going into the portal. So I mean, all the players, they're probably still guys from the national championship teams and the Final Four that were still putting their names in the portal. So if you really want to be a well-rounded coach like DeVries, you kind of want to wait till everybody's in the pool. That way you can you got everybody in there. You don't want it to go after this guy and then you're like, oh crap, well, this guy just went in and he wants to come play at Indiana. So this all has just gotten started. And, he's got the coaches in place now. We got everybody in the pool, in the portal pool, and we got one big time piece coming to Indiana. And yeah, I just cannot wait to see how it all comes together. I mean, I am not a patient person. And I feel you out there. The people on X and the people everyone's saying be patient. It's tough. It's tough. And yeah, and Andrew here, there's got to be new rules coming. Like there's going to be in the next few years, there's going to be contracts, there's going to be all kinds of things set up so that I think they need to change it so guys can only transfer one time and then there's some type of penalty if you do it a second time. But something's got to be done there. And I think it would just make it a little bit better system. But they can't be worse than last year, Nickel Stacker. I mean, they can, but it would be very difficult. For last year, their hopes were way up here. And then we came in not even near those hopes. So right now, just watching DeVries put this together, I got a lot of faith in what's happening here. And I know I've said the word faith a lot of times on here, but it's the wild, wild west right now. That's for sure. And hey, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Lamar Wilkerson in the tank. And there's going to be a lot more videos coming as Indiana puts this thing together. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.